I consider myself a running Sherpa. I've now done close to 40 marathons, and almost half of those have been to run or to aid someone else, and I like it that way. And all I can say is, I'm Barrett Hopper, and I completed 14 marathons to celebrate my 50th year of life.
And as you always say, you don't have to be the most talented, smartest, or fastest. You just have to be committed.
Barrett, you are an inspiration to me, and I could not be more grateful that your journey last year led you to me. No distance could separate us, and our souls connected during this very marathon journey and long before we met.
Woo!
Thank you for being a role model to Dylan, and it is so amazing to hear that your son Brian is now talking about wanting to run a marathon one day. That is inspiration right there. I'm so proud that you are my best friend, that we chose each other, and I'm so proud to be your wife.
Hashtag one team!
So grateful to get to be a part of your family, and enjoyed my running life because you're a part of it. Thank you again for everything, and look forward to many more journeys with you.
2018 was a tough year. I had 4 surgeries and was unable to walk without assistance for 4 months, and you running one of your races dedicated to me. I followed you every step of the way, and I can't thank you enough.
North Carolina, where you have this skinny kid that's running, got a desire to go to college, but did not receive a scholarship, did not have funds to pay for it, got the UNCC, actually walked on to the cross-country team. I'm not sure how much you earned in that, but he earned his spot. From there, he excelled academically in college and began to show magnificent glimpses of a person who was going to be great. And let me give you an example of what that looks like. I would travel to some track meets and record. This one particular track meet, he was in last place. And as he came around that last turn, you know, it didn't look good. And he was just moving and moving, and all of a sudden he got this second wind and pretty much passed up the entire heat. And so you could hear me in a voiceover on the video yelling, "Go, go, go, go." Anyway, that was pretty exciting. I'm pretty sure he still has that footage. From there, he graduated. We were roommates in college. And one summer we stayed in a dilapidated house because the option was either you go home or you can stay in summer school, maybe earn more credits and work. You could always go home and stay in your comfortable house with your mom and dad. And that was my case. On Barrett's side, I didn't really see a father figure. And that's another thing. You have this guy who's accomplished in all these things, but he's not making excuses from where he came from. And so we stayed in this dilapidated house because we was determined that we was going to work that summer and stay in school and get one more step towards graduation. After graduation, he went into chemistry, working in various companies. But one thing that stood out to me was there was one incident where he was in between jobs, and he was pretty much a few days from being homeless. I didn't know this until after the fact. He told me that the job interview he went on, the hotel they put him up with, you know, he would stash food up during the day for his meal at night. But the rest is history. Got on and showed himself successful.
When Coach Barrett came back and told us that he was planning to run 14 marathons in a year, it surprised all of us. It surprised the Rockwell community. Because we don't know Coach Barrett quite well here, and why he would want to do that was a mystery to us. But he did it. He had his reasons, and he did it. And the thing that really stood out with his experience was his commitment. He pushed through to make these marathons. He had a few injuries along the way, but that did not slow him down. There was one marathon he ran, and all of us here in the Rockwell community, we were worried about him. We were worried whether he was going to make it or not. not even we were worried about whether he was going to make it alive, which is even scarier, because when you run a marathon, it assumes that you're going to be alive at the end. But Coach Barrett did it, so just remarkable.
I always known, just growing up with my brother, that there's nothing that you can't put your mind to and then just do it. So it didn't shock me, or it didn't even come at a surprise that he not only stated that he was going to do the 14 marathons, but he completed it. I happened to be there along the way. One that really comes to mind is when we were in Alaska. Maybe a week prior, my brother was in a hospital due to an embolism, which is a blood clot. And it looked like he shouldn't be running or traveling to Alaska. I remember just calling our mother, who's like prayer partner from heaven. So it's just great to have a powerful praying mother. And the next thing you know, he was out the hospital and he said, I'm running Alaska. So Alaska would have been my second 5K. So just imagine, what that run would have felt like, as I'm thinking about my brother and thinking about like trying to run my race, right? But of course my focus was on him. When I finished my race, because the marathon runners had already began theirs, I had two choices: to be at the finish line or go to the emergency place that they have. And I said, no, I'm gonna stand at the finish line. He's gonna finish strong. And when he came through that finish line, oh, Lord have mercy. He was screaming and yelling because they told him that he wouldn't be able to do it, and he did it.
So, just a little background. Barrett and I have run together, I'll say, for quite a while. Ironically, our houses backed up, our backyards backed up to each other, and we didn't even know each other. We'd see each other out running. So because of that, I'm actually doing this after finishing my Saturday run. Hence the sweat. Barrett had announced to me that he was going to do his 50th birthday celebration. In order to do so, he was going to do 12 marathons during his 50th year. When I first heard this, I thought he was crazy. Then I thought about it. I knew it was doable, and I definitely knew that it was doable for Barrett. And I say that because I've run 6 Bostons with him, helped each other across the finish line one year, him to the med tent, and we've run multiple miles. He encouraged me. He was with me when I did my first 50-mile week, 60-mile week, 70-mile week, and 80-mile week. And that's what Barrett does. He encourages, and he was using this as an encouragement. He's the type of guy that would give you the shirt off his back. So back to the marathons. I was fortunate enough to run Boston and Chicago with him last year. I was also able to see him at Grandma's and take a few pictures and be a cheerleader for him and the group that went, including my wife. Barrett has a job similar to mine, so I understand the stress and the level of commitment it takes to be able to continue to run. We travel every week. We're in different hotels in different cities. Very much hard to create a routine. Barrett finds a way to run. He gets it done. He had done 3,000 miles a year before, which encouraged me to do 3,000 miles last year. He is, as he went through this journey, he went through travel issues. He got stuck in New York or Philly once. He had a blood clot along the way. I remember him calling me one night and I encouraged him to go to the hospital, and they immediately put him on blood thinners. He has, this wasn't an easy journey, and what's even more impressive is along this journey was that he did this with a lot of adversity along the way, and not only that, he did it with extremely difficult times to make. Chicago, for example, he and I started together. Unfortunately, we didn't finish together. But the next week, he went and took 20 minutes off his time, and I believe ran a 2:51. And a 2:51, your 11th marathon in 10 months, is amazing. Very few people can do that. And Barrett's done this over a tremendous amount of years. He was in the Olympic trials. He's worked his way, and at 50 plus years old, he's still competing at an elite level. So that said, my hat's off to Barrett. Respect him. Love him as a brother, and he is an amazing athlete. And I know he'll do something even more impressive when he turns 75.
Just the impressiveness of going out there running sub-3 marathons. I run 2 to 3 marathons a year, and just the level of intensity for me, just by doing that, is really high. So I certainly can't imagine the 14 marathons that he went through. But I think part of his philosophy and part of what I've taken from that is that a lot of your limits certainly can be expanded, and they can be expanded through some of the mental training, some of the consistent mileage. Part of what I tell the guys here at RRC Dallas is that we may not be the most talented, we may not be the most gifted athletes, but we're certainly going to outwork you, and we're certainly going to put in the mileage. It's not uncommon for our runners to be running 80, 90, 100 miles a week. So that's the philosophy that Coach Barrett has instilled in me, that I try to instill in others even to this day. And I guess if I took something away from that experience, it would be that part of the gift is to show people that you can push your limits, you can push what you think is possible and make it into a reality that is certainly impactful.
When he mentioned it to us, I really didn't doubt him one bit. Barrett is very well known to follow through with whatever he says he's going to do or what he wants to do. So of course he had my full support, and I knew it was something that he would absolutely accomplish. I know it wasn't easy for him. He, was very honest and sometimes about how he felt, and it was a struggle to get back out there and do one within 30 days. And I believe there was some months that he did it 2. So he's always inspired us and continues to inspire us. And I am happy that he made it through and accomplished so many goals in that year of his 50th birthday. So anyway, keep it up, Barrett. Keep shining. Keep showing us what you're made of, and showing the world that you don't stop and you don't give up when you put your mind to something.